ready to have a road trip in a nondescript part of the world, which may be either Eastern Europe or South America? Which...
I mean, it's hard to have a road trip when you don't know where you are. I'm more fascinated by this totally not Hewlett Packard monitor that we've got here.
So, point one about Road 96, the new game from Digixart, is that it is actually sponsored by Hewlett Packard.
Oh, is it really?
Or specifically Omen. I think that's their gaming brand, right?
It's HP's, yeah.
Yeah,
gaming brand is Omen.
so it's actually sponsored by Omen.
So this is to say this is the Virginia people.
No, so we made that mistake earlier. This is not the Virginia people. This is Digixart. This is the first game from them. The Virginia people is Variable State, who did Last Stop this year. That's the Virginia people.
Oh god, it's the other fucking road trip game.
Yes, the other road trip game. Well, no, actually, the other road trip game is not out yet. There's another one coming.
I know there's a third one. But...
Yeah. So here's the thing about this game. I'm going to talk over this and not put subtitles on because this is a procedural narrative game.
Right.
In a weird way that I'm not entirely sure why it's procedural, but we'll get to the problems I have with it in a bit. But also, this is my current save. I cannot restart without killing my save. I tried logging into someone else's account, and that used my save too, so there's no way for me to go back. There may be spoilers, but this is a procedural game, and there's not much I can do. If there is something huge, I will cut around it in the edit, maybe? I don't know.
We'll yeah, sure, yeah.
But yeah, so the setup for this is kind of what you're seeing here. So this is the country of Petra. They are... the game starts, I think, 2 weeks before Election Day. They're currently in charge by a fascistic, maybe just straight up fascist dictator who is like basically using all of the country's resources and selling them off and not giving it to any of the people, any of the citizens. And as a result, all the teens from the city or from the country, sorry, are trying to cross the border into the next country, so that they can actually have a better life for themselves, because there are also rumours of like a teen camp, like forced labour camp, that's happening.
That's not good.
So we're going to pick a teen because we're starting a new run.
You're saying pick a teen, right?
A teen, yeah. T-W-E-N.
Oh yeah, as in teenager, right, okay.
Teenager, yeah. They're referred to as like...
They're all 17, 14, right?
Yeah, no. They keep calling them teens, like as a capital T thing. We're gonna go with this.
Hello,
team.
fellow kids.
Hello, fellow children. So it's a roguelike as well as being procedural. So these are all
having a fucking bitchin' ass soundtrack.
This is so Toxic Avenger is all over the soundtrack. It's really good.
It's very Toxic Avenger from what I can hear.
So I'm gonna stay on the screen for a little bit just to explain what's going on. So it is also a roguelike. So these are all the teens that I have taken to the border so far. Right. All of which have had various the procedural
they got out. That's good.
A bunch of them have got out. A couple of them not so much. But basically the procedural nature of it is what happens to you on your way to the border. And if you see the bottom right there, that's all of the other characters that are you kind of featured throughout the game, and each of them have like their own stories, and that's the percentage of each of those characters I have seen.
So those characters are not people you've taken out; those are people you've met.
These are people I've met on my travels.
Right.
And you get bits of their story. So like I've seen 72% of John's story, for instance, and that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna go here. Like I say, I have literally no idea of knowing what's coming up. Not just because I've not played this, because theoretically any of it could come up.
Yeah.
And while we're going, I'll kind of talk about the procedural nature of this because it's real weird. So we're just gonna go. It's also a roguelike. So you have a stamina bar, and if your stamina bar hits 0, you're out, and the run is over. I'll show you that in the top left here. Once I get in here. So see, I've got a stamina bar at the top left.
Oh.
If that hits 0, depending on stuff I've done, then it's game over and the run ends, and your teen something happens to them, depending on what happens. But it's a first-person narrative game. Apart from that, I'm very quickly just going to switch on subtitles because I switched them off. There we go. So yeah, so this is Petra. Like I say, it's got flavors of like Eastern Europe as well as like South America. It looks kind of South America, but a lot of the stuff that happens like vaguely is kind of Eastern Europe-esque. Yeah, let's just go in. So there's stuff like the other part is not only is there an election happening, this is the fascistic leader, as you can tell, in case you can't tell by the poster that's happening.
I mean, yeah.
There's a kind of liberal Democrat style candidate. Also
1996. Huh?
Oh, also this is in 1986 to set the tone.
Is that why it's Road 96, or is that actually Road 96?
No, it is also Road 96. It's also just 1996. Okay. I have no idea what's about to happen, so let's just do this together.
Chuck's isn't open right now. Renovation.
Wait, so this is
music?
This is like Eastern Europe?
No, they're not clear. They're not entirely clear.
Okay, right, okay.
But it's got elements of both of those things in it, and they kind of don't really place it in the world.
Make it quick.
But they're basically you don't like this place and you're trying to get across the border. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Let's just have a quick explore around here.
Can you fuck with the power box?
Can I fuck with the power box? It does seem quite conspicuous. No, I can't fuck with the power box. So trying to explain this game is weird, right? Because it does have elements of like a Telltale or a Don't Nod game where like you do stuff and it says they will remember this. There is obviously some kind of branching overall narrative. Can I just go in? Did you let me in?
Yeah, you said go on in.
Okay.
Because you said you were going to go for a pee.
Right.
Well, I'm out. Anyone else want a shot at this guy?
So it's also... the voice acting goes from being really good to absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
In interesting ways where like it's the first time I've heard somebody attempt a Scottish accent and it coming out as like sounding simultaneously everywhere in Scotland. Like
sure, yeah,
it's non-specific.
I've heard that said before. Yeah.
This is also a big part of the game. There's a lot of mini games, a lot of like little like activities.
Just playing fucking air hockey.
Yeah.
I love this guy in a cowboy hat, but he sounds like he's the fucking landed gentry from England.
There's a particular character who we may see, we may not see, we may see. I'm not sure, but he's obviously supposed to be like Midwest American, but just misses it on like half the consonants, and it's really weird. And also like there are definitely some instances where some of the voice actors are doing the best with the script that they have.
You are making my day.
That was
kid.
bad. Yeah. Like John generally is pretty good. Sometimes his script is a bit naff, but generally the voice actor is pretty good. He definitely sells the stuff. So in terms of story, like I said, like you're basically trying to get across the border because their teens are trying to make a better life for themselves.
They're fucking with the teens.
Because they're fucking with the teens.
I didn't beat him in air hockey.
Yeah. So one of the aspects that makes it procedural, or I don't know how the procedural works, is obviously these characters have a linear story, right? Because you can see there's a percentage that you are through each of these character stories.
Aren't you guys terrorists? What?
There's a thing.
Is that what that B symbol is that you keep seeing?
Yeah, so this is the symbol for the... Again, I don't know how much this is spoilers, because I don't know how much they give you this early in different playthroughs.
Fair, yeah.
But yes, these are the brigades. These are like the kind of rebel, vaguely Antifa faction who are fighting back against the thing, and these people are related to that.
Serve this boy a martyr.
Here we go.
You
sure about that, Robert?
But yeah, so obviously these characters have linear stories, right? Because you go percentage through them. But the procedural nature of it means that you have to serve them in order, right? Or the story doesn't make sense. Or sorry, the linear part of it means they need to be in order. So it's really just like it's giving you different orders of when they're going to appear. So you don't quite know when they're going to appear, but you know that like the first part of the story and their second part of the story and all this kind of stuff. So it kind of, and then there's been enough kind of not hitches, but like slight flubs where like a character will talk about. So one of the things you can do with each of the characters, so something like this, where you can ask, there will be a point at most of these episodes with a character where you'll be able to ask them questions, right? And his question is generally about the world. And there's definitely been instances where I will ask a character a question that one, I've either already asked them, or two, they would already have answered, considering
Yeah.
what's happened to the story. So there's general little flubs with that they don't catch all the time. Most of the time it works fine, but sometimes they flub it. And it's like, it really does leave me with this idea of like, why is this procedural? Especially when it's like got this episodic structure to it. Like at the main menu you saw, like, was like episode 7 or whatever it is. And the other part of the procedural thing I don't get is you sometimes get these dialogue options, right? So see how these 3 icons that are on these dialogue options. So the top one is like loner, where you're just like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit about what happens to the country. The second one is like, I'm part of the resistance and want to actively fight to make the country better. And then the third one is like, I want to make the country better, but by voting for the other person.
Right, okay.
Those are kind of the 3 directions that you can go with a lot of these conversations.
Sure.
But I have no idea how these are actually going to influence the game, right? Because you're playing as different teens every time.
Right, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, like, it'll say this choice has an impact, but, like, an impact on what? Like, is this the country as a whole? Is this, like, are all these teens happening in linear time so that theoretically when I get to the end, there will be...
some sort of impact?
Yeah, maybe, but it's hard to know
But
what
like, then
influences what.
Why then would multiple... I guess if you're saying... I guess what you're saying is that multiple teams make it of a mindset, then...
Kind of, yes.
God.
Like, you're kind of influencing...
If enough teams of the same mindset get to the end, they might, like, band together and do something?
You would think so, right? But, like, it's weird in a game like this where, like, you then can't really roleplay different teens, right? Like, all of your teens have to have the same...
mindset at that point?
Yeah, like, why would you not have... Why would you not have the... Yeah, you're like, if every team's got to have the same approach to this, why would you ever, like, choose anything different as opposed to just sticking with one if that's the end result of the thing that you want, right? So... It's a weird decision. Like, I like the idea that you don't quite know what you're going to get, but also, like, as your first time through, you don't know what you're going to get anyway. So it's not really procedural, it's more just kind of, like, random. So yeah, it's a weird decision, but it does kind of work, and I do like a lot of the characters that are in this. Like, that's the downside, right? Is that... Oh, eat food. Get my stamina back. The one downside, that is kind of the only downside in this, that and kind of some of the, a little bit of the voice acting that sometimes doesn't work. But generally, like, I like the story that they're talking about. I like the way it's kind of, I like a lot of the characters in it. Stan and Mitch might be one of the best characters I've met this year, who are, like, super incompetent robbers. Like, they've got,
sure.
Hopefully they appear. I'll maybe do one more section after this, but hopefully they appear and we can actually see them. But I really like.
John and I were at the border in '86.
So they keep talking about.
Around for many years.
So one of the things they keep talking about the story things that keep going back is this explosion that happened at the border in '86 that caused a roof collapse. Sorry, a roof collapse. A mountain collapse that killed a bunch of people, and like that was the way that the leader kind of really clamped down on everyone, is like by saying like, oh, these terrorists are blowing shit up, so we should really increase police presence and all this kind of stuff.
We think she's the catalyst the revolution needs.
So this is obviously us being shown a little bit about
Resistance HQ.
The Resistance HQ. We'll see how this goes. I've never seen this before, so we'll see how this goes.
The kid's political. Besides,
like, that's the kind of thing. So, like, I'd really recommend listening to the Waypoint guys talk about this, because they do a much better job of talking about some of this. But because this game comes from France, the phrase, like, so like I got in this game I got asked, and I'm now just parroting what they said, but for reference, like, so I got asked. My character was asked, "Are you political?" Right, which is a weird sentence to us, right? Because that's a strange sentence, but that does mean something in places in Europe, on continental Europe, right? It means like, are you political means are you part of the resistance? Like, it does have its own meaning. So
okay.
It sounds like a weird question to us, but it does have a meaning.
I mean,
here.
if you said are you political to us, you would just mean like, are you up on politics?
Exactly,
like
but it does actually have a meaning here. so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about with like some of the dialogue is a bit off, where it's like, okay, that makes sense that would make sense to some people, doesn't make a lot of sense to us. But generally, I really like what happens here. They're generally telling a pretty decent story, and they're doing it pretty well. There's a good mix of like really horrible characters in really good ways that you hope have.
Yeah, you would expect horrible characters in a kind of weird fascistic state.
But like you
right?
you get reasonably close to some of them. So like one of the characters, the reporter at the start of the game that we saw when we picked her character, she's like one of the characters you follow out in the world, right? And she's very much like working. She's working for the equivalent of like Fox News, where she's like a figurehead of the media arm of the government, but like does not give a shit about anything. Like is just like, I've got a limo and all you guys don't, so fuck you. Yeah, it's interesting, and I do like a lot of the writing here, but it can be a little bit all over the place.
I don't. I do. I do. I refrain. I don't.
Okay.
I do. Free against free.
So naturally it's going to be a vote down to me.
He's here after all.
That's why you brought him in, to vote on your side. Incredible.
Wait, what do they want to do?
So this is basically them saying like, hey, the brigades are naturally, like you would expect, the brigades of getting this reputation for like doing like, they're doing a lot of flying, and like they've got like a pirate radio station and all this kind of stuff. But they're like, hey, do you want to fucking actually go do some crimes in the name of the brigade? Do you want to say like, no, let's vote our way out of this, let's democratic our way out of this? Or you can go like, I'm not really on here, I just want to get out of the fucking country. So like, this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, I don't know how much this is going to influence anything, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of sure.
Kid, I thought you had the makings of a real brigade.
Yeah. So like that kind of stuff comes up, and it's like, hey, that seems like a big choice, right? But I have no idea how it implements anything.
We all know what we need to do. Get in our cars and leave calmly. Kid, no need to worry. They'll never suspect you.
Sure.
Hey kid, wanna play? We can put down some money if you want.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I kind of like the look of it as well. Like the lip syncing.
Yeah, it's got a weird art
is,
style.
Yeah, the lip syncing's not the best, but like it's totally serviceable.
It does have the oh god, what is that video game?
Life is Strange.
The Life is Strange, problem where it looks like everybody is like people with just like peanut butter in their mouth to make it look like they're talking.
It's a little bit like that, but like the kind of nature of some of this stuff, I kind of let it go. Yeah, so again, when you're kind of done with a scene or whatever, like a bunch of stuff can happen.
Wait, can you just take a car?
So yes, so one of the other things, can I show it on here? Do I have that option? No, I don't have a menu. Oh wait, I do. Progression. So the abilities thing, I'm not going to hover over them because you kind of you unlock them as you go, but you kind of, as you meet some of the characters, they will teach you some stuff, and those abilities will then open up some options that you have to get around. So you
is
can
that
just,
like your persistent progression?
That's your persistent progression, kind of roguelike-esque thing. So like I now have to pick locks, for instance. So theoretically, I'm guessing somewhere in there, I could probably pick a lock or have a dialogue option, or basically get some car keys that I could steal that car.
Can you not just pick the lock of the car?
No, because it depends. You do need the car keys to actually start the car. So you can't hotwire a car. Okay. So like there, I don't have the keys.
Sure.
So my options here are I can call a taxi, I can hitchhike, I can just walk. But if I go over and do things like, if I go try and walk, you can see that like that's going to cost me 3 stamina bars to go use that. But I only have $5, so let's just hitchhike and see where we end up. Also, that is
I thought I was
right. Is that's just the premonition whistle, right?
Yeah, that's like achingly close to "Life is Beautiful" from Deadly Premonition. It's like the first 3 notes are the same.
Like they get super close and then don't, and I assume it's a reference, but I don't actually
literally
know.
Like I wasn't expecting it, and it literally triggered something in my brain to make me go, "Wait, what?" And
it did that to me a couple of times. I was like, "Wait, hold on a second." So let's see where we end up. So we're now hitchhiking. Oh, is this Mitch? I think this might be the robbers. Because they have a motorbike like this. It is Stan and Mitch. These guys are great. so I'm now in a sidecar.
Take money!
Yeah.
I've never seen that shade of green before.
He's going to get sick on the hog stand. I knows it.
Like, they're incompetent robbers, but they somehow make their way through it and are also just like kind of nice at the same time.
He won't
But
get sick on the hog stand.
Mitch, hard as I try, I can't hear you neither. On account of the wind.
like,
See you leave
yeah.
the
So
moving,
it's,
and I know you're
but like,
speaking
there's a lot of different. Like you do end up in a bunch of different settings. Like I've ended up in like vans and cars and different buildings and like all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, I just really like these guys. So yeah, I think I'm like 6 hours, maybe 7 hours into it, and I feel like the story is having like a
Check the bag.
I was gonna say, do you feel like you're getting like a worthwhile story out of
Yeah,
it, or do you
'cause,
feel
like,
like
all-
everything's too disconnected?
No, because all the individual stories are really, really good, and it is kind of like you're getting 6 or 7 or 8 stories
The bag in the
Right, okay.
as you're going along, and it does kind of work.
Watch. A furry friend.
Aw, that's too bad. Happens with the smaller life forms.
Like,
I should
that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, it keeps referring to them as smaller life forms. I don't know if that's a translation thing or a script thing or whether this is what Mitch's character is like. I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
say that seems like a character choice, which is quite cool. But
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
I kind of want to take the money, but also I don't know if it's gonna happen.
First Patreon National.
Oh, nice. Okay. So occasionally you'll get these as well, which are like dice roll ones, which are
yeah,
like
go for it.
sure,
Yeah.
As Dad and Mitch are kind souls, here, take this.
nice. I get cash, $20
He
bucks.
got some cash.
Nice.
Buddy,
Oh, they gave me that one.
heard of Stan and Mitch, right?
Yeah.
If I say
Of
no,
course.
Should say yes. I knew it, Mitch.
Oh yeah, that's a good line. I
Yeah.
like it.
yeah. So like I said, it's a real mix of like some of the dialogue doesn't work and some of it really hits. So
Yeah.
like, this is the kind of thing where you're like, okay, you can ask them about the state of the world. So it's like, hey, do you think something big's gonna come?
Me and Mitch were just talking about that.
Yeah, it's like the air is crackling with electricity.
And then here's your other thing. It's like, yeah, sure, Flores is gonna win the election.
Unexpected.
And it's interesting that you'd get like, so you say that kind of thing to the, whoa. Oh, hi. Oh, hey.
Hey, what are you looking out down there?
You'll get scratch cards.
Oh, I told you to toss that gas mag.
It could help us learn the particular
Don't know what that is.
Sonia's situation. That murderous creep is hot.
So like one of their stories is like, they are
Oh, no.
obsessed with, oh, okay.
Cops, Stan.
If they start shooting, we're goners.
Okay.
Kid, do something to slow him down.
Alright.
You want to promo money? You're a genius.
Just gonna
What
throw
the
money
fuck
at this
is
cop
going
car.
on? Yeah, he's gonna throw bags of cash.
I mean, there's a lot, it's heavy and it's doing damage, so.
I mean, I guess, but why do the cops not just have a fucking gun? Like,
I don't know. Maybe because it's like PG-13, I don't know.
I mean, maybe, yeah. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, right. But this is kind of what this game is. It's a weird mix of like, kind of really heartfelt emotional stuff and just like outright fucking nonsense.
No, stop! Wait, hang on.
How you fight home, Mitch?
No, it's going up.
Oh, yeah, because that's me corrupting the cop with money.
Yeah, you're corrupting the cops. Okay.
Come on, take the money. Oh, come on. Okay. There you go. I know, I'm working on it. Okay. But have I corrupted the cop yet?
No, quite.
There we go.
There you go.
Corrupted the cop.
Ah, time to get rich. They stopped for the money.
Dare I ask who the criminals are now?
We lost them.
Surprisingly poignant, but alright.
Yeah.
let's-
All our darn money.
Oh, scratch card. Sure. $1. Excellent. And also, you get the entire soundtrack as tapes that you can put
Nice,
into
of
any
course.
actual ghetto blaster in the world. It's pretty good.
Actually, the kid's right. In my momentary fear, I did. Forgive me.
I don't know if I can. Let me think about it. Fine, I forgive you.
Phew, that's It's a relief.
Um,
Anyway, for helping us out back there, we'll take you a little ways further.
cool.
Well, Mitch and I are nice people.
We're bank robbers, but we're nice people.
Nice people.
Okay.
They're really nice people. Yeah, sure.
They just,
But-
yeah. Stand and Mitch are great. So we'll maybe see the start of this.
Oh
and then-
wow, they fucking took you really far.
Yeah.
That was-
And again, it's kind of unclear. So obviously, like, if you're walking, you're not going to go as far. If you hitchhike, you'll go slightly further. If you call a taxi, you'll get further than that. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe see what this is, and then we'll leave it there because, like I said, I don't want to show too much about what the game is. It's a weird thing. It's
a really interesting idea.
super
but
interesting.
I agree that I think this sort of thing would be really hard to pull off successfully for the reasons that you've said.
Yeah.
But it's I'm interested that people are trying it though.
Yeah.
That's
I think it's I think describing it as, because the thing is that, like, if you didn't know this was supposed to be a procedural game, you wouldn't really know because you're just playing through it.
Yeah,
You'd
yeah.
think it's all structured. And a lot of their marketing has said, like, yeah, there's like infinite variations of how you can play through the game. But if it's not, but it's kind of not procedural. It's like they've shuffled the order of everything, which is not really. It's kind of pseudo procedural, but not kind of what you think
Is it just?
of.
Do you think instead of it being procedural, it's just like a really big deck of cards that they just like shuffle?
That's what it
and pull
feels
one out?
like. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
closest description. It kind of feels like they just kind of randomized the order of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of yes, that's probably the most accurate thing I can see so far, is that they've kind of just shuffled the order of stuff. And it does work with some notable exceptions, but it's not procedural in the way you think it's procedural, which you know, just to know that going in. So I think I've been here before. And also the other thing they do actually really well that I'm kind of impressed about is it's not a huge team, right? It's like it's a pretty small team that made this. They're really, really good at reusing assets. So I'm reasonably sure I've been to this motel before. I think maybe it was one kind of similar to this, but like they're reusing it in really smart ways. Where, like, because it's different teens going through the same country, it makes sense that you'd arrive at some of the same diner every now and then. But they like really shuffle what's in it in ways that you kind of forget sometimes.
Hello,
It's
I'm Steve,
it's pretty good.
owner of the Paradise Motel.
Hi
Where
Steve.
just one night will forever change your life.
What? That's
Now, there are rumors of a serial killer in the area.
why would you tell me
That's
this?
just what those are.
Okay.
It's a slasher film now.
Serial killer?
Started by our rival
Yeah?
Supreme Motel.
Oh,
They're just jealous of our jacuzzi.
sure. Oh, steel door key, sleep.
I think Flores has a shot.
Sure,
But Tyrek and his people will do everything they can to intimidate voters.
sure.
But yeah, that's yeah.
So like really interesting progression is like, so see how there's like a 10 grand thing over that. That used to be a 5 grand reward for this radio transmitter. Now it's 10 because they haven't caught him yet. So there is
Oh,
like
sure.
general progression on a lot of this stuff. So I don't want to sleep here because that's a lot of money that I don't have. So maybe I'm just going to explore, or maybe I'm just going to leave it here. But yeah, so this is Road 96. It is out on. Oh hey. I
These
just
eat
ate what was
garbage.
ever in the fucking bag, which is great.
Did it help?
I mean, it gave me a bit of stamina, so sure.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's out on. So this is the Steam version. It's out on, I think, everything, including Switch, maybe. I can't, or maybe the Switch version is coming later. I can't quite remember, but it's not exclusive. It's out on everything. Oh hey, password for the safe is something 28524848 something else. So is it still 4848? Oh wait, actually, I can. Sure. Steal money.
Okay.
Oh, I've got a credit card now.
Someone's credit cards.
Henry Denton's credit card. Can I use that in ATM? Is that what that's for? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe, or you can like pay for a room with it. I don't know.
Oh, and
car
this.
keys.
Hey, car keys. So can I just fucking leave, or is there actual
Take
story
his
time in
car.
here?
Take his car.
We're just closing until tomorrow. Thank you for understanding. Oh, so I
yeah,
have to. Okay, I have to stay here tonight somewhere. I mean, I can't steal the key because he's looking right fucking at me. So maybe I'll just steal the. Can I pick one of these locks? Maybe is that what it is?
Can you not just use the credit card to buy a room?
Oh yeah, is there an ATM?
Or get an ATM, I guess.
Well, oh yeah, maybe I can just use the
I
credit
just
card.
need to give him the fucking credit card. Yeah.
Okay, that'll do it.
Unless that is his credit card, but I don't know that.
I mean, yeah, we'll find out. I mean, I did get a bunch of cash, so maybe I just do steal it. Maybe I just do. Sure, sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
Get some stamina back anyway. Because since this is my run, this is actually the character I'm going to keep going as once we're done here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's out and everything. It's 15, I want to say, possibly 20. It's cool. It's if you like narrative games anyway, this is a cool spin on some of those things. And
it seems like an interesting idea.
Totally. And I will report back on the podcast when I get to the end of it to see how much influence the changes I've made or the things I've said have had on the world.
Yeah.
It feels like it's doing something, but whether it'll be like, whoa.
Oh fucking hell.
So I'm gonna leave this here because Jared is a kind of core character that is
right. Yeah. Fair.
I don't like. Well, no, he's a great character, but he creeps me the fuck out. So we're gonna leave it there.
Yeah, he just fucking appeared in your fucking hotel room.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this is Road 96. Like I say, I think it's out on basically everything now. 15 quids. You'll have a reasonably good idea about what we're doing here, based on this.
Yeah.
And it's worth having a look. And the soundtrack also is fucking killer. It's really,
yes,
really
soundtrack
good.
is very good. Toxic Avenger does some good stuff.
Toxic Avenger, and there's a bunch, and it's kind of just all over the place genre wise. There's some like
for
pop,
sure.
there's some acoustic, there's some.
I had to listen to it when you sent it to me, and it is just like everything that's not Toxic Avenger is definitely not Toxic Avenger, which is very strange when you put them all together.
So like some real synthwave. There's some acoustic. If they got where's this one? Like some real Jack Johnson stuff on there as well. So I like it. Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, this is out now. Go check it out. Thank you, Cal.
Thanks, you.